I'm always very grateful to be able to work with Sarah because she is just such a powerhouse, as you heard in that introduction. She's worked with over 175 mission-driven organizations. She just is the most knowledgeable person that I've ever been able to work with, and just an amazing partner. So we're really excited today to be able to have this conversation with all of you, and to be able to, talk a little bit more about what it means to articulate your personal theory of change. And so let's see here. You don't need to see our faces. I just threw up a blank slide here so that we can just kind of have a conversation about what this means today. So Sarah, this exercise today that we're going to be doing, this workshop was the brainchild of Sarah. And when she's done this in the past, it's just been so impactful, and she's had people, who have been crying kind of as a result of this, of how powerful this is. And we know that today, when we're having this conversation, that it's a really timely time to be doing that. Sarah and I reworked this exercise towards the beginning of the week. We really wanted to be responsive to what's happening in the world right now, and really be attentive to how you're all showing up today also. For everyone, I think the last few months have been really trying, as we've all been grappling with COVID. And then on top of all of that, we've had, the last week has just been so incredibly hard to see just all of the different things that have been happening. And it's been incredible to see the support that has come for the Black Lives Matter movement as well. We really didn't know a few months ago, when we were putting this workshop together, when Sarah put the proposal in, how significantly the world was going to change. But we know that everything now, that this is it's an opportune time to be able to re-envision the kind of change that we want to make in the world. We've seen so much bubble to the surface, and now it's time for us to be able to actually harness that and move forward. When in these times of turbulence, it can be really, really challenging to find your footing, and also to find your personal power. So this workshop was really designed with the idea in mind that we all have something that we care deeply, deeply about. And we all have the resources at our fingertips to start to put into motion that kind of change that we care about. Today, what we're doing is we're really inviting you to reflect upon the kind of change you want to make in the world, no matter what that looks like and what that is. And to spend some time considering how you can align your time, your energy, and your money to be able to leverage that change. One of the things that Sarah and I are often saying when we're working together with clients, or when we're presenting in front of students, is that it's so vitally important to be able to tap into what you feel so deeply in your soul. And it's so important to be able to bring forth your unique passion, your voice, your point of view, and be able to turn that into some kind of action. So we know that everyone here on our call today, you're all capable of incredible things. You've all been doing incredible things in the world. You're all amazing change makers. What we're doing today is just really giving you a roadmap to be able to understand and to figure out, dig a little bit deeper and find those bits and pieces that you want to really turn into impactful action. So we'll move on into talking about developing a theory of change. So really and truly, like, developing a theory of change, this is something we do a lot in the nonprofit world, which is so applicable to our own personal ways of creating change, as well as within the business world. So developing a theory of change really helps you to answer this question of what kind of change you want to create in the world and how you're going to go about and do that. Your vision of change is really what keeps you going when you are just exhausted, tired, frustrated, when you feel like the world is beating you down. This is the North Star that keeps you moving forward. It helps sustain you because it's bigger than just you.
So the reason we think this is important, and especially important in a week like this, is we know that when you don't know what your vision of change for the world is, you might be spending your time or your energy and money in disparate ways. Where you're volunteering your time, it has a different purpose than how you're spending your work time versus where you're donating. And at the end of the week or at the end of the month or at the end of a year, you might look back and say, I don't really see how that added up to something. I still feel dissatisfied with the way the world is and wish I could have had a bigger impact. And so having a really clear vision of change allows you to lay out this afternoon some really concrete and tangible steps that will help take what seems wildly impossible at this moment into something that is both possible and achieved. Erin, I think we're popping to the next slide. Okay, so over the next hour, what we're going to do is we're going to think about the world today and how we want it to be different. We're going to spend time thinking about how we're spending ourselves and how that is or isn't aligning and supporting our vision of change. We're going to identify some really concrete next steps that we will immediately take and over time take to bring about our vision of change for the world and for our communities. I'm going to pop into the chat box right now a Google Doc. And while you all are clicking on it, Erin's going to walk you through a little bit of the logistics for how the next 50 minutes are going to play out.
Yeah, so you'll see in a moment when Sarah drops into the chat this worksheet. So what we'll have you do is to save that to your Google Drive. And by doing it, I'll show you in just a second what that actually looks like. I'll do a screen share. So what we're asking for you to do today really is to commit to doing this, to, turn off your phone, your email, turn off Facebook, to be able to give yourself the gift of this hour that we have together to really reflect and go deep on this. Really and truly, we're gonna, in order to create an intimate conversation, we're gonna split folks into breakout groups within Zoom. There'll be about 3 to 4 folks in each group. We ask that you just be respectful of whatever folks is coming up. Just apply, normal group norms to the group that you're in. This workshop's going to walk you step by step through the instructions and the timing for the exercises, the self-reflection, and the small group discussions. So you'll start off in your own personal reflection, and then you'll have opportunities to share as a group. And there's a couple of different sections in the worksheet that you'll see. We're going to bring you back into the main Zoom room around 1:50 to just close up. And if you do need any help, once you're in the Zoom breakout group, if you haven't done this before, there is an ask for help button. And that will actually, it's kind of cool. It's like the bat signal. It calls Sarah or I into the room so you can ask us some questions or if you need clarifications on anything. You'll also see Sarah and I just kind of pop into the rooms as well. We're really there to listen when we're doing that. So just feel free to just let us be a fly on the wall, or if you do have a question, you can always ask us as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second and pull up what the worksheet looks like so you have the opportunity to see what I'm talking about. So just let me share my screen again. So you've got here your articulating your personal theory of change. So you're going to make your own copy of this. So you're going to go to File, Make a Copy, call it whatever you'd like, and that'll be your own personal copy that you'll be able to keep. So you won't see it as a group per se. It's really intended for you to be able to take your own notes. And so then you'll hit OK, and then it'll pull it up in a different screen. Because right now what you have is not editable. This one will be editable. Well, thank you all so very, very much for your time and your energy today. And it's, especially in these times, I'm just so grateful that you all showed up, and you all showed up so open-hearted to this too, because it's so easy, I think, sometimes to be able to show up and do things, in a half-assed way. We all have so many different things happening in our lives right now. And I think that that's just such a gift to be able to give yourselves and to each other. Sarah and I are so grateful that you were with us today. And what I'll do right now is just share my screen so you have Sarah's and my contact information. So, so you've got our contact information here. Please feel free to follow up with us about anything. We're we loved, we're really, really happy we had this time with you today. The very last thing that I will say too is I know Michelle did a plug yesterday for the Be Impact Clinic. This is something that I help co-facilitate with Fiona Wilson. It's an experiential program for UNH students to be able to work alongside companies that are looking to either become certified B Corps or to recertify or to just really shift their business practices to be more sustainable and socially responsible. If your company is interested in working with us in the fall, we have our application is due by June 15th. So I can also drop that link into the chat too.
That would be great, Erin. We did share it yesterday as well, but it's always good to come back to. So definitely want to. So right now, what we're planning on is just a really quick 5-minute break. Before we go, I do want to thank Erin and Sarah. I mean, what a wonderful session. I know, like Eric, I love that question. But I'm going to take the sheet with me this weekend and do some reflection as well. It was wonderful and really enjoyed it. So thank you both.